Hi y'all, today I'm going to be doing a highly requested video which is what it is that I do for a living and to go into more detail about that. So I've gotten a few requests here on YouTube to do this video. I've also been emailed by y'all and tweeted, and so that to me, I don't know, it's kind of cool, I guess. If you are new to my channel or have been watching me for a while, then I will just give you more info on what it is that I do for a living and try to give you more information about that. I'll try to do it more in layman's terms as well. It might be a little hard for me because obviously I'm used to my profession specific like words and that kind of thing, but I will do my best to explain. I'm going to try to keep this video fairly brief. I'm shooting for less than 15 minutes because you know me, I like to talk, so it could get longer, but I'm going to try to keep it to 15 minutes. So if I don't hit on something that's interesting to you, let me know in the comments below and I can do another video talking about something specific or specific things that y'all want to know more about. So basically what I do for a living is I am a certified public accountant. So I am a CPA, and what I do currently is I am an auditor for a public accounting firm. Basically when I say that I am an auditor, what it means is that my company or the company that I work for, we are contracted by various businesses who either are publicly traded on the stock market, so a publicly traded company, or who are a private company who need to get, audited for specific reasons. For example, if they have loans out with banks, normally banks will want someone independent of the company to say, yes, the financial statements that are being provided by this private company is correct. Okay, so what it means for me to audit financial statements. Basically what I do is, whether it is a private or a public company, I basically go in with my team and we ensure that whatever is put on those financial statements are, legit, like they're not fudging numbers and that kind of thing. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. There's a lot of like sitting down involved. The one good thing about my profession is that it has a lot to do with client service. So I'm, constantly at different clients' offices. I'm having to talk with them a lot, build a good relationship with them and work within a certain amount of time to meet their deadline. In my particular profession in accounting, I basically get to see all aspects of the accounting process. So I get to see, I basically review and make sure that whatever accounting is putting out is correct and accurate and, it's legitimate. So I feel like I get to see a lot more of the business than if I would if I, if I had started out at a, specific company and worked doing their accounting in-house. Which is not necessarily true. I'm just saying that I feel like I have more exposure to the entire accounting process and the whole business process as an auditor. Another thing that is specific to public companies, y'all have heard about the whole Enron debacle, or some of y'all may have, I don't know, some of y'all might be a little bit young, but you will learn about it. And basically there was this big thing back in 2001 where there was a bunch of fraud going on. The accounting firm that was auditing this company was not independent. They were kind of colluding with the company, and it's not a good situation. So basically, another thing that I am most interested in and have some expertise in is related to companies' internal controls. So basically that means like there are certain processes, I guess you could say, that are in place that ensure that like assets, like a company's cash, is not being misappropriated or being stolen, or like let's say that they sell makeup and there are certain controls in place to ensure that that inventory doesn't get stolen or, that kind of misplaced and misused or recorded improperly in the financial statements. So there's that part. There's the piece that's much more like accounting wise and more like technical and making sure that what's being shown on financial statements are correct. And then there's also the piece of business process controls and ensuring that, like reviews are being done to ensure that assets are not being stolen, misappropriated, or recorded incorrectly in your financial statements. I don't know if any of that makes sense. So it's so hard to like put it into, I guess it's hard for me to put it into terms that everyone would understand. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. If that totally confused you, I'm sorry. If it didn't and you get what I'm saying, then that's cool too. So that's what I do. Normally I'm part of a team. I currently am at the level of a senior. I've been a senior for a few years now. I'm hoping to make manager this year or next year. And I supervise a team and teach them what I've learned, and we just go in and, provide excellent client service to our clients, and that's what we do. I feel like I've rambled for so long. Okay, as far as my work experience, if y'all want to know about that a little bit, some of y'all may know this. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to intern with a Big Four accounting firm, and if y'all know as well, I ended up getting a job offer from there. So when I was fresh out of college, I went into one of the Big Four accounting firms, and I worked there for about 2.5 years. I got really great experience. I got to see some really interesting business and accounting problems, and I was really exposed to quite a bit. I feel like I learned a lot. I learned some really good soft skills from the Big Four. I learned how to work under pressure, how to keep your cool. It kind of taught me things of like who I am as a person and how I want to treat others. Also taught me how to interact with my client, how to do certain things just in the audit world. And it also taught me a lot of technical skills. I also got a lot of exposure to SOX 404, which is what I was talking to y'all about as far as internal controls. And that really sparked an interest in me. I really enjoy both the technical aspect of accounting and business processes. So that was, it was something that was kind of like, oh, I didn't realize I'd be interested in that, but I was. So anyways, I was in that for about 2.5 years, left as a senior. Then I went into industry, and industry basically means that I was working for companies like in that particular company's accounting department or whatever. So I did that for about a year. I was doing some regulatory reporting, and then I also did like internal audit, SOX controls kind of work. At the time I left the Big Four, I was a senior, and so I went into industry as a senior, and I just felt like it was a little bit harder for me to move up in the world. Ultimately, it wasn't getting to me where I saw myself long term. And for that reason, I decided to go back into public accounting. I decided to go into a mid-tier firm. Basically, I just didn't think that I didn't feel like the Big Four culture fit with me personality-wise. It's not to say that I can't handle the long hours and that kind of thing. Like, that's not a problem to me. It was more of a cultural difference. I just felt like another number in a sea of faces. So that wasn't what I wanted to do, and that's why I didn't go back to the Big Four. I went to a mid-sized firm, which, I've been enjoying so far. The busy seasons aren't nearly as bad. I feel like I'm getting to see a lot of different companies and a lot of like the entire accounting process, which has been really cool too. And I really feel like I'm getting the kind of work experience that will get me to where I want to be in a few years. And so I'm really enjoying it right now. Right now I feel like public accounting is a place for me to get good experience, and eventually I'd like to find a company where I could just like grow roots in and work with them for many, many years and grow with that company. That's my ultimate goal. And so my dream job would be to be either running an accounting department or doing internal audit for like a company with a really cool culture, where you get to wear whatever you want, obviously professional, but you get to wear whatever you want, wear false lashes if I felt like it, or makeup, whatever kind of makeup I wanted, more of like a creative environment. So I feel like that would probably be with like a marketing firm or a marketing company. I would love to work for like a makeup company or a fashion one or a designer or a brand or something like that. That's like my ultimate goal that I would love to end up being a part of eventually. So right now I'm just grooming myself and getting the technical knowledge and soft skills that I need to be successful whenever I do end up landing that dream job. My battery's dying. Oh well. So quickly, the reason why I chose accounting is mainly because the job stability. that was one of the biggest perks of doing accounting. Like, there's always a demand for accountants, so you will, even if the economy is bad, for the most part, you'll be able to find a job. Everyone needs accountants. So that was one of the main things that caused me to want to go into this field. Another thing is when I was in college and I took my first like basic accounting class, there was something about it that just kind of connected with me, you know, as far as like, oh, this kind of business transaction needs to go here and this one needs to go here. So it's kind of like an organizational kind of thought process, which was kind of fun for me. I've always, you know, I'm good at math, but I wouldn't say I'm a genius. Like, I can't just go like 5,000 billion plus this much equals this much. You know, I'm not like that, but you know, the concepts of arithmetic and math and algebra have always been interesting to me, so it kind of goes well with that. Now, I do want to dispel this like misconception that you have to be like a super genius to be an accountant. You don't. Like, you know, you need to have some brains, but you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to be like the square root of this is this. Like, that's not accounting. As long as you're good with a calculator, you can figure out, you know, you can do arithmetic and algebra, that kind of stuff pretty easily. And especially if you can work with like Excel or computerized programs, you'll be perfectly fine as an accountant. So yeah, so those were the reasons why I chose accounting. And also, just to get like really personal with y'all, if you know me, then, and you've known me for a while, then you know even before I met my husband, I was very much on this path of like, I don't need a man, you know, that kind of, I was very much independent. And so for me, it's really important to be able to have my own career and to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, you know, just as a person. Like, I want to be able to provide for my family, whether I had a husband or not. I want to be able to provide for my future children, and I don't want them to be, I never want them to worry about where is the next dollar going to come from, and I don't want them to want for anything. I want to provide a life for my kids where I don't want them to be spoiled, but I don't want them to be worried. Like, I don't want them to see me worried about money and like, you know, how am I going to buy my kids school clothes and school supplies and stuff. And if this gives you any insight on how I was raised, my mother was a single mother for a bit until she met my stepdad, which is cool. But at the same time, so she was always trying to figure out some kind of business to make her own income. And we were not, you know, we were not poor, but we weren't well off either. I always knew the concern over money. Like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like, I was always very aware of my mother being stressed out about money, and, you know, I completely understand where she's coming from. I just never wanted my children to deal with that. And so that's why I was on the path of accounting, and that's why I feel like I have this drive within me. It's not all for just being like the head honcho in the company. That's not really my goal. Mine is to be able to provide a good life for my family, myself, my husband, and my children. I feel like accounting really does give you that opportunity, and that's why I've chosen this career path. You know, obviously I love sharing more of the creative side of my life, like doing makeup tutorials or styling things or decor, that kind of stuff. But I also think it's really cool to be able to talk to y'all about like real life stuff, more than just the, I guess you could say, superficial things of life, because obviously that's just a piece of my channel or a piece of my life that I share on my channel, and I'm very open about, you know, my life in general, and I'm always willing to help people out as far as giving advice or anything like that in real life. So I kind of love that that is transitioning into my internet life as well. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank y'all for watching my channel and for being interested in me more as a person and not just as a person on YouTube doing tutorials and videos and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool, especially with a lot of y'all who have been with me on this journey since like I started YouTube, and it's always been more of like a social network for me. I've met so many great women and men on YouTube, and I don't know, it's kind of cool. I guess, you know, I would never have been able to meet y'all if it wasn't for the internet, so I just think that's kind of cool. Anyways, that was long and rambly. So I hope this video was helpful for y'all. I hope it was informative, and if there's any other things y'all want me to go into more detail about, for example, if you want to know the perks of being in Big Four, the pros and cons, whether you should go into industry first or whether you should go to Big Four first or a mid-sized firm first, if you want me to go into more detail about about that, then let me know in the comments, or if there's anything else I didn't hit on, I can probably do another video specifically to answer questions about this video, I guess. This video is going to be so long, dang it. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful and I hope it made sense. Thanks for hanging out with me and listening, and I will talk to y'all in my next video.